So hello guys, in today's video I'm gonna go over of how you can improve your AI solution systematically rather than getting lost and stuck of not knowing where to improve. With this type of tool that I'm currently showcasing you, you're gonna be able to improve your solution by 2x, right? And the thing, this is what I'm currently showing you is an annotation tool, which is custom built. We build clients and we are either shipping a new Gen AI products or improving and optimizing their existing ones that either be for clients or for ourselves. So in this video strictly I'm going to go talk about how to build this annotation tool and how to go about improving systematically your AI solution so you don't get stuck and actually increase your accuracy so you're able to overall decrease your churn, get better LM outputs, get better insights, actionable insights, and actually have a useful Gen AI product. So this is a tool, like the annotation tool that we built, which I'm going to go in a second and showcase you how it works. But before that, let's just go in here to showcasing you why this is important. Now, the traditional way of improving Gen AI LLM products is scattered, meaning a lot of people jump directly into improving it in a sense of LLM as a judge, meaning they provide certain LLM outputs to the LLM as a judge, and LLM as a judge basically classifies that outputs by specific criteria like helpfulness, accuracy, truthfulness, XYZ, you get the point. And from 1 to 3 XYZ. That basically what causes is that most engineering teams, AI teams start tracking nonsense, meaning they're tracking useless performance LLM metrics, which are good to a degree, but optimizing strictly for them will completely capture you in a black box. What is a black box is basically, I'm going to go into in a second, but basically if you're just tracking these performance metrics like helpfulness, accuracy, truthfulness, recall, precisions, XYZ, you get the point. Even though some of them are very useful and you should track them, but optimizing strictly for them, it doesn't tell you the full story. It doesn't tell you what that even means. Let's say, what is accuracy? What does that mean that the users are going to stay? Does that mean that the users that are using the product, either the internal or your like actual customers, are actually receiving actionable insights from the LLMs, right? And basically get captured in a black box. So what is the black box is basically this. A lot of AI teams that then they go and start like basically tracking these metrics and simply didn't know where to start. They built complex LLM architecture, which is completely makes no sense. They only track performance metrics, which I currently just showcased you. Not looking at the data, they try to switch between new LLM models, change the prompts, forget about the content, strictly go directly to the LLM as a judge, XYZ. You basically get the point, they're completely lost. Their assumptions and they're thinking too much from the technical side, meaning they're focusing on technical aspects, not knowing when to improve. They're not even talking to the users. They are using the wrong metrics, XYZ, and that's the black box because they are basically stuck in one circle, and they don't know what is the lowest hanging fruit of improvement, right? They don't know what to improve next. So there is a better way, which is basically this better way, which is building this type of systematic improvements. Now, from our experience, from literally working on and spending way over, I don't know, by now, way over 1,000 hours on building strictly Gen AI production ready systems and products, either that before, like actual customers, users, or for the internal use cases, we have seen the largest results from actually human looking at the data and actually gathering the insights rather than getting and involving LLM as a judge directly at the start. So what I'm trying to say that human involvement is very, very predominant and often than not leads the highest result. So what is the better way? Now, the better way is the first step is to get the subject matter expert, meaning somebody who knows what you're talking about. Second is building the AI persona, meaning crafting the user queries and the desired LLM outputs. Basically just get the sheet and enter those in, like the user query that the user would write and the desired LLM output. After that, that's done by subject matter expert. Then you create a custom data annotation tool. This is like a grammar mistake here. And basically it's much more easier to build your custom own data annotation tool than you utilize any open source ones. Simply, that's from our experience, because Gen AI products are so customized. You often do not, the open source variations are not gonna work for you. And plus, it's so simple to build and easy to build. It's actually a no-brainer. 4 is basically conducting an error analysis, meaning evaluating every single trace, logs, and seeing where the actual issue is. That also goes into the classification, meaning you actually classifies and categorize mistakes by the intent and of course what our overall the mistake it is, which is basically the step 5. And this is the overall, like the image, like the overall LLM architecture of improving the LLM products. You can call it either, some people call it like evaluations or XYZ, but you need to complicate it, right? Now, error analysis. What is error analysis? I'm not going to go too much into error analysis, but it's basically just it's been here for a long time. Traditional machine learning concept, which basically just tells you you basically pick what are variations of failures, classifications of failures. Let's say we have like an image classification model, and we have, let's say a model classified this image as a dog, but in reality that's wrong. It was a cat, right? And down below we have all the results because we calculated them all, and we noticed that over the machine learning model actually has an accuracy for signaling that in the image there is a dog over 90%, but for the cat it has over low, like literally has like only 34%, and for the food it basically doesn't work. It only signals us only about 20%. So if you want to go in depth of what error analysis is, which basically is the whole concept of building the annotation tool, you can just watch this video from Andrew Ng, which is probably the best you're gonna find out there. Now, the step 1 of building this annotation tool and automatically, systematically improving your Gen AI products. The first one is subject matter expert. If you're building, let's say, a content assistant, AI content assistant, you need to find someone who has a personal brand or creative strategies, content creative strategies, aka somebody actually doing that already, because you're basically just replicating something that has already been done via technology, right? And if you're not the subject matter expert, aka if you don't know what a good insights from the LLM output is, you cannot really improve the system because you don't know, right? That's one of the reasons why a lot of AI teams get stuck, because they are not subject matter expert or they are not using subject matter expert. Now, often than not, let's say in smaller teams, this is either CEO or a founder, maybe even a developer if they try to learn the topic, or they just find another person from the other teams, other departments, and just get them in and be like, look, we need to evaluate these responses and so on and so forth. Okay, they actually use them to improve the overall product. And because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter the technical terms. It doesn't matter if you improve the accuracy. It doesn't matter if you improved the search, the embeddings, the chunkings. The only thing that matters is that if the users are actually receiving actionable insights, helpful insights, and if they're actually valuable to them. If they're not receiving that, it's actually useless. Step 2, AI persona. Basically, here you just craft the desired LLM queries and desired LLM outputs, meaning just write down in the sheet, tell the subject matter expert to do it, meaning tell them what prompt and the user queries they would normally like to utilize that, and what desired output they would like to get. Either that be from just generated overall LLM output, or that would be some type of an action that they want an LLM to do, right? The third step is building an annotation tool. Now, as I said, there's a lot of like on the web open source variations of this, but personally, I would encourage everybody to build their own, because that's what we've seen that works the best for all the teams, and most often than not, it's so simple to build. You can build it via open source libraries like Streamlit, Radio, or whatever. It should take a few minutes or 1 to 2 hours, literally, especially if you're using AI for coding like anybody these days. It shouldn't be complicated. You shouldn't complicate this part. Just build a simple solution that anybody can use. But now let's go into basically showcasing you how to actually utilize this solution. So here it is. Basically, overall, this AI evaluation, aka annotation tool, is built for a content assistant writer. Like the overall goal for this content, this is just an example, just so you know, this can be built for any AI product. But in our example, just I picked the simplest product ever that anybody could understand. In short lines, is built for a content assistant AI writer. And in the first page, like if you have 3 pages, the first page is individual trace view, then there's a group analysis view, and then there is an analytical dashboard. In the first individual trace view, we are able to see and conduct overall the LLM inputs from the users, aka user query, and we are able to actually see the overall LLM outputs. Now, of course, down below, I'm also able to see the exact traces, and I'm able to see in the right side the trace ID, the intent, and the current status, aka the unreviewed one. On the left side, I'm able to see the statuses, aka which one meaning to review, the passed, the failed. I can filter them by intent. Now, what is the intent? Intent is basically we classify every single user query by what it means. Because let's say one user query, let's say in our case, could be a user is asking for competitor analysis. In our case, these topic ideas, meaning a user wants to generate content topics for their personal brand, right? Stuff like that. And we classify this by intent. And why this is important? Because we know we are actually thinking more so about the customers and the value they're receiving, not about the technical terms and so on and so forth. Then the below is the filter tags, okay, why this isn't good. Why, let's say if we evaluate this one, the user, okay, here in the note section, what is actually wrong with this LLM response, which is quite a lot, right? But this is just an example. And down below here, I'm able to, let's say how it works in short lines. The user can click the next and however wants, can write the exact and detailed review of this LLM output and the exact LLM trace. Let's say for this example, it could be too short, not enough details to details mean metrics are missing, such as likes, top performing topics, and so on and so forth, right? Literally, basically, I write it in detail, and I can be like, okay, this is not good, pass, right? Boom, and it goes to the next one. Here, I'm able to download the overall trace, meaning literally the whole trace, and I can see what's happening in the backend, but I also can look here down below. Now, for some products, this might be more complicated because you have data coming from multiple sites, from multiple sources. Let's say you have the prompt, you have the user, you have the history, you have potentially even other parts like from other data sources, like maybe KPI data from call descriptions, XYZ, you get the point. Now, down below, there are more actions such as, let's say, to test set or to data sets or file a bug. Let's say if you find interaction or a trace where you can see clearly there's a bug and you potentially even might see it, seeing it multiple times, you can just click here, file a bug, and it will directly go and either log a Jira ticket or a log and call basically an API call to GitHub, right? So basically the engineering team can fix it ASAP. To dataset or to test set. To dataset is basically whenever you find a golden interaction, golden trace, meaning you see something that is how it should be, and you save it into a database. That's going to be used for later improvements, for fine tuning down the line, or for sending it directly to the prompt to XYZ. Basically, you find the exact LLM output how you desire to find. To test set, basically you do the same stuff, but you find something that you don't want to happen anymore, right? Meaning, let's say I have wrong format and you want it to send to the dataset to test the dataset. So basically it doesn't happen anymore, so that engineering team can improve it and look at those examples and be like, okay, we don't want this to happen for XYZ intent. Let's say for whenever a user is acting for competitor analysis or for to draft a tweet, we don't want this to happen. Stuff like that. Now, group analysis. And yeah, here you're able to search by user query. This is also super helpful for us, by the way, because I can just literally search it here and I can see the exact traces. Now, let's say if for the ones that are failed, I can also see this failure topics. This is automatically added, by the way, by the LLM, because the LLM analyzes the reviewer notes and automatically provides us with the failure tags. Actually classifies it by the human review. Now let's go into the group analysis view. Here I'm able to see the percentages and the overall scorecards, like the total traces reviewed, the approval rate, the total failures, XYZ. I'm able to see the traces list. Let's say here, rejected, review, literally by every single one. I can, let's see if I want to see and going here, I can go back and look at it more detailed like I did now. Here I'm able to see the clusters, meaning by competitor analysis, by content plan, XYZ, you get the point. Meaning, let's say if I do this all, I'm able to see, okay, topic ideas, approval rate only 11%, we analyze around 14 traces, draft tweets, XYZ, meaning by the intent, what are users actually asking the LLM product. The analytical dashboard is basically just presenting us the overall analysis of what's happening, meaning we are able to see here from the human review, it goes directly to the LLM output, to the LLM to classify the failure and add a failure tags, meaning, okay, human review was this means it's, let's say, we have these classifications, we create these failure tags, classification tags, and these are the biggest mistakes, okay, failure tags that are happening, let's say weak hook, factual error, and so on and so forth. And of course, these are also segmented by the intent, okay, where they're happening as well. And here's also visual representations of all of it. Here is also an example of the intent performance analysis, let's say total traces for chat analysis, the 0 ones passed, all of them were failed. Here are, let's say, 50% for content plan, and so on and so forth. I'm able to also download this, and is actually seeing it directly in the CSV file. I can also download the each one trace, let's say like this one, in the CSV file. Let's literally every single trace by one in one single row. I can see the history, I can see the intent data, I can see the data coming in, the params XYZ, the LLM prompts, the raw response, the final outputs, the evaluations, the human review notes, the reviewer name, XYZ, and so on and so forth. And this is basically how you can do the error analysis, and you're able to automatically see, okay, we have this type of success rate for chat analysis, and so on and so forth. Now, this is overall solution, and this is how it works, right? Very simple to build. You can build it very fast, and it's very, very super effective, especially for non-technical users to do it. Now, let's go back here. I already talked about this. This is like the overall architecture view of how to build this. You have predefined user queries, which we defined in here. You can also just utilize this for normal user queries, meaning at scale it might be much more harder to do, but believe me, reading the data and actually seeing the data and seeing the LLM outputs and traces is going to probably yield more success and improvements than just transferring it directly to the LLM as a judge, which there is a way how to do LLM as a judge correctly to actually produce business results, which I'm going to go talk about that in any other video, not now. But this is overall LLM architecture view, the architecture view for the annotation tool. You have go through classifications, which basically just classifies the user query. It evaluates the LLM outputs, meaning you do that, and here you basically error classification. Basically, it goes from whenever you send the human review of the classification, it goes through the LLM, and that provides us with the exact tags of why that specific trace was wrong. Okay? Let's say wrong hook, wrong formatting, XYZ, and so on and so forth. And this is the data analysis, which we just basically talked and gone over with. And of course, the CSV part, I explicitly mentioned this just because it delivered such a high results for our clients and for us. Now, TLDR, this is overall how to systematically improve accuracy of your AI solution with this simple custom AI annotation tool. And now, if these are some of the offers, by the way, like and subscribe, but these are some of our offers. If you want a free AI roadmap, we will audit and provide a clear roadmap for your AI data strategy, and it will provide with top 3 and 5 proven Gen AI initiatives that you can do right now that will lead to minimum 20% revenue increases. If you want that in less than 2 weeks delivered, schedule a free data call with our team. Now, the other offer is if you want to improve and gain a clear evaluation roadmap and find the exact blind spots of your current Gen AI solution, we will improve it by at least minimum 30 or 20% or 30% accuracy under 2 weeks. So if you want that schedule, build and ship fast a new Gen AI solution, schedule also that a free data and AI audit, a data strategy call, we call it, down below in the description. So please comment below if you want to see any future videos regarding this. But yeah, see you soon.